So, Annie, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration puts out a statement and says that I'm misleading the general public. And yet, proceeds to confirm everything. It's now been confirmed that indeed, all our front-end visa process has been handed over to this company, Access Citizens. They confirmed that in the statement. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has not been able to provide one misleading statement that they have made. Rather, what they have done is to avoid all the fundamental issues raised. And for the avoidance of doubt, let me state verbatim the 12 major issues that I raised in this latest expose. 1, and I've listed these 12 questions. Again, I've put out a rebuttal. The ministry has not responded. We are still waiting. 1, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has not told the Ghanaian people why Access Citizens was single-sourced. They didn't address that. Why did they have to single-source Access Citizens? Why did they have to cook this midnight sweetheart deal and hand it over hurriedly to a company that was only recently incorporated a few months? Yes. That has absolutely no track record. No track record.
So on that, in their statement, they said the agreement between the ministry and Access was originally cited in August 2022.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So, in August 2022, they signed the main agreement for a pilot.
Okay.
And that is what led to the processing centers in London, in Berlin, and New York. Yeah. Now, the midnight contract is the addendum, which they signed recently on the 2nd of October. That's the addendum. To expand it, enhance it, and give Access Citizens total control of all our front-end visa processing and passport processing, except protocol visas. So the fundamental issues have not been raised. Number 3, we have also asked, why is it that there was no PPA approval? No PPA approval. We have checked with the Public Procurement Authority. No approval whatsoever. A flagrant violation of our laws. Number 4, if the ministry says that this is a PPP arrangement, they haven't said that. But even if it is a PPP arrangement, a public-private partnership, our PPP Act is very clear. The processes that they ought to have gone through. The Ministry of Finance approval, the parliamentary approvals, they have done none of that. So due process was not followed. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs does not respond to that. Number 5, what explains the shocking, unconscionable terms that the ministry is happy to settle with? Very, very, very unconscionable terms. 3%. So this $38.2 million that Access Citizens is raking in, the ministry is going to struggle to get just about $2 million. Totally unconscionable. The ministry statement does not address that. Then, why does the midnight contract not impose an obligation on Access Citizens on the specific amount to be invested? The ministry does not respond to that. Because when you go through all the contracts, the main contract and the addendum, will you believe that there is no obligation on Access in terms of how much they must invest? So you are taking all of this. You are charging people about $55 million, euros, depending on the jurisdiction. We are getting only 3%. There is no obligation on you. How much are you supposed to invest? It is not in the contract. It is just a blank check, a carte blanche. What analysis went into granting Access Citizens a monopoly until 1st September 2028? That has not been responded to. Why should a sovereign nation obtain blessings of Access Citizens before we can introduce e-visas anytime before 1st September 2028? Will you believe that under the addendum, Annie, we cannot introduce e-visas? We cannot introduce visas on arrival, something that all our neighbors are doing. We cannot do it until after 1st September 2028, as long as Access is in the way. And you need their approval, their blessings. I mean, why is access so powerful? The impunity. Number 9. Why should Ghana's e-visa and visa on arrival plans be put on hold until Access Citizens has met its supernormal profit targets? Why is the ministry peddling falsehood about taxes to be paid by Access Citizens? You know their statement. They say that in the analysis I have done, the 38.2 million that does not include taxes. That meanwhile, in the addendum, it is stated clearly that Access is exempted from paying VAT and paying other taxes. It's there in the addendum, clearly stated. Why is the ministry maintaining a deafening silence on the egregious violation of our data protection laws? They don't speak to that. The foreign ministry also fails to provide the overarching policy justification for this deal. If it is not broke, you don't fix it. Our diplomatic missions are up in arms. They are saying that, look, they don't need this. They are already carrying out this visa processing. They are doing just fine. They don't need it. And you see, unfortunately for the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I have intercepted more internal memos, copies of which I have here. They claim I am misleading the public. Will you believe that? All the top officials at the ministry, these memos I have, all of them agree with me. They told the minister that don't sign this. This is a bad deal. Don't. It's all here. All the internal memos. I'll be publishing them later today. Memos? Internal memos from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Will you believe that originally they said they will give only 2%? So the staff at the ministry had to sit with this director of this company. And after a hard bargain, all they could get was an increase of 1%. The meeting with Mr. Nidal Kamuni was on 21st August 2024. And all they could get, after protesting, was an increase from 2% to 3%. For Ghana. Can you believe that? They advised against this. They said that if you read this memo, this one is signed by Ambassador Jane Gasu Ayeto, 16 September 2024. This second memo states clearly that the terms here are unconscionable, that it could even lead to judgment debt. They were reminding the minister that the ministry has signed other contracts with other service providers, including Innobis ICT Solutions, EMH Global Limited, Tegona Biometric Solutions, to provide general visa and passport application front-end services with chip embedded projects by BTS, which will soon take over. And that all of these people could take the ministry to court, that there will be judgment debt, and that this contract should not be signed. It's all in this memo. Submitted to the minister on the 31st of July 2024. And the minister defied all these people. So if I'm misleading Ghanaians, how about all of these top diplomats? Various departments. When I publish the memos, you will see. Saying that, look, this is such an unconscionable deal. This will lead to judgment debts. This raises data protection issues. Our missions are up in arms. They don't agree with this. Don't do it. And yet, the ministry has gone ahead. And you know, Annie, the latest I'm picking up is that there are attempts to try and backdate, try to follow due process and all of that. Let me serve notice. We are monitoring keenly. And we will see everything. And we'll know everything.
Even if it's backdated?
We will know. If they go to the Ministry of Finance now, we will know. So they shouldn't even try. Look, this contract will not see the light of day.
How?
I'm sorry, I have to leave. I have another meeting.
Yes, they will not see the light of day because January 7, 2025, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama takes over, Operation Recover Aura, we have said that we are going to launch investigations into all of these unconscionable contracts. All of these clear, create, loot, and share. And to the extent that due process has not been followed, our procurement laws have been breached, our PPP laws have been breached, there has been no parliamentary approval. You have all of these internal memos cautioning against this totally unacceptable rip-off.
But since it's been signed already, will not be pushing us to the edge of judgment debts again?
when you have not followed due process, there's authority abounds.
Okay.
There have been a number of companies, if you look at our case law, where they have tried to question a new government seeking to abrogate their contracts. And the courts have held that if you did not follow due process, for example, if you require parliamentary approval and you didn't do that, there are a plethora of cases, including the Isophoton case and others, where once due process was not followed, the contract can be abrogated.
Okay.
And in the national interest, we are going to make sure that all of these sleazy deals.
Particular contract, that if due process is not followed, or that applies to all contracts.
It applies. It must apply.
Okay.
It must apply.
Okay.
It must apply to all contracts that are dubious, that do not follow due process, that are unconscionable, that are sleazy. It certainly ought to apply.
Okay.
And so look.
All right.
I can assure the people of this country that they've not heard the end of this matter.
Right.
We are going to raise it when Parliament is recalled. We are going to summon all of those who have created this financial loss. And the annoying part is that they are going to even be renting equipment that we have invested in, that the missions can use for this work. They're going to rent it for cheap. We are going to make sure that those who have subjected Ghana to this unconscionable deal are questioned.
Okay.
But let me serve notice to all of those companies, Access and Co., who engage in all of these midnight deals, that they should know that the day of accountability is coming.
Okay.
And we are not going to allow these unconscionable deals to survive.
Right.